From the Middle is a founding member of Odd Pods Media. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to episode 183 of From the Middle. We are three middle-class guys living in the middle of America in the middle chapters of our lives with a point of view that's somewhere in the middle. And if that doesn't tell you enough, we're a comedy, culture, entertainment, and interview-style podcast where we like to laugh and talk about all the kind of things that make you chuckle along with us. In this episode, we finally start our segment, One Last Shot, where we give foods that we hate one last shot. And in the back half of this episode, Lily, Corey's oldest, tells about the most incredible cinematic universe since Marvel. Make sure to tune in for both halves. You're going to love this one. Check it out.
Oh, for the love.
Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it? You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved.
From the Middle after dark over here.
You guys, it's 183,
Yes, it is.
and we are back in studio.
We are.
With a very special fourth chair. And
Finally.
not just friend of the show, relative of the show.
What?
My oldest child, my daughter Lily. Lily, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Yay!
Woo.
We're going to do a thing with you in the second half of the show. But for right now, just make yourself at home, hang out. You're the fourth chair guest. So you're part of the crew tonight. If you are watching on the YouTubes, you can see that Dylan and I have an arrangement of red Solo cups in front of us. If you're listening to this, thank you for your listenership. But this might be one that you want to consider watching on the YouTube. Did you know we have a YouTube channel at From the Mid Pod everywhere? Go find us on YouTube. This is going to be a fun one to watch. Dylan has been wanting to do a segment for a really long time called One Last Shot, where we give foods that we despise another chance. Well, this is One Last Shot Punishment Edition, because if you've been listening for the last few non-guest weeks, you know that we had a friendly wager. We don't normally bet on games, but the three of us regulars said for the game, the Ohio State-Michigan game, whichever team loses, those fans have to do this one last shot thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that proper context?
Yep.
You guys know
Yeah.
I like the context. All right.
Yeah.
So the first half of this episode is going to be us playing this game. Now, Kendall has some decisions to make on the rules, but here is my best sketch of the rules. But Kendall needs to agree and make a few decisions on how we do it. So if you're just still listening, there is a 3x3 grid of red Solo cups for a total of 9 cups for me, Corey, and 9 cups for Dylan. Under these cups are 6 things that we hate and 3 things that are good that we like. We're going to Rochambeau to see who goes first, and one of us will start. So, Kendall, here's the choices you have to make.
All right.
If you if the player chooses a bad thing,
Right.
do you want them to just keep going until they get to a good thing, or like with a max of maybe 3? So in theory, you could get all the bad stuff first,
Right.
or just go until 3.
Just go until 3. So you're only going to be eating 3 things potentially.
6 bad things total,
Right.
3 good things.
Right.
I'm asking you, in the chance that we keep going bad, do we go all the way to 6, or do we stop at 3 if there's not a good thing to interrupt it?
I think whatever option I think makes it bounce back and forth the most.
Okay, then we stop at 3.
Okay.
So the worst you would have to do is 3 bad things in a row. That's
Because what I'm thinking is the only thing like this that I've done before is the Bean Boozled challenge.
Yeah.
Which I did just by myself, like bought it myself, and like my wife was there.
Like the Birdie Bots every flavor.
I just wanted to do it, and it was like the anticipation of like I know that most of these are going to be horrible because after the first couple, I knew that like, oh, they did a pretty darn good job on this.
And it smells pretty bad over here. All right, so that's the first decision. So
Yeah.
the most you would have to do is 3 bad things in a row, and then it stops. It's a mercy. Switch to the next person. Got it?
Okay.
Second thing you have to decide, when we get a good thing,
Okay.
can we ration that good thing to help us get through the other bad things? Or do we have to consume all of it? And no rationing.
Since I went kind of jerk on the first one, I'll let you ration.
Wow. Okay. Finally,
Yeah.
if we bow out, if this is just too much for us, I think there should be another form of punishment, because this is the punishment from losing the bet.
Right.
So would you like to add, and you don't have to come up with what it is, but do you think if we bow out of this punishment, we have to do something else?
I mean, I know what's under those cups. I don't think there's anything offensive enough that it's a bow out situation.
Okay.
Like, is this actually going to happen?
You don't know how much he doesn't like some things.
That's true. I sometimes make fun of you guys using the term small town palate.
You're about to find out. So you say you don't think there's going to be a need to bow out.
I don't think there will be. I believe in you guys.
Okay, so he's saying no.
I haven't had a very hard life, Kendall. I just want you to know that. It's a very real possibility.
You guys, I was shopping this afternoon at Kroger. I'm so excited to get into this. Are you clear on the rules?
I don't know. I guess. I don't know.
This is your idea.
You're
This
too
was
excited.
Dylan's idea. I want to say,
I didn't know I was doing 9
listen,
in punishment edition.
if it's too much, you can back out. It was one of those things where like I normally don't even want to do these kinds of like things, and so it was. Amy had asked me after the game was over, like, so what are you going to make the guys do? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, I'm willing to just let it slide. I'm not a huge fan of these kinds of things.
On.
So if they drive it, I'll let them do it. And Corey drove it with
We're all
Dylan's
about
idea.
luck.
I'm here.
So-
I'm going to do it. In my head, this was like each of us try one at a time. But this is punishment edition. And we're kicking it off. And I don't like saying we're going to do things and then we don't do it and it fades.
Okay.
Out. So
There it is.
I'm glad. I can be glad we're doing it and not glad we're doing it at the same time. I don't like how excited you are. I can see it in your beady little eyes. And I don't care for it.
There's some of the stuff under those cups that I'm like, really?
It's not that bad.
Really?
None
All
of. By the way, for the listener, nothing under these cups is unedible or
Alive.
This is all food. These aren't.
It's all safe.
There's
It's
all
not-
safe things. And while Kendall watches us go through this, he gets to eat my homemade molasses cookies.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that was a big thud. What did you pack in those cookies?
This was
It's molasses.
what
All
did
right.
Cherry? What did Cherry call you?
Old man.
Old
All
man.
right, so we're gonna Rochambeau to see who goes first, or rock paper scissors for the
I'll just go first. Let's get this out.
uneducated. Is he allowed to have that, or does he have to?
Yeah, what's the rule? Can we drink in between? There's a drink. Are we allowed?
You're so
Yeah.
okay.
Do you want to not do only after 3? Can I have a drink? What would escalate this for you more?
Nothing. This is no. We're good. Kendall said the rules. All right, so
So I'm gonna eat 3.
you're gonna pick one up. If it's a bad thing, you're gonna have to eat that. Go through that. Pick another one up. If it's a bad thing, eat that. Go through that. Pick a third one up. So the most you would have to do is 3.
All right.
If you get to a good thing, you're done.
You're done. The first one's a good one. You're done.
We have tomatoes, ladies and gentlemen. Dylan's first draw is
Okay, it's just a slice of tomato. The thing with tomatoes, it's like the earthy, like texture. It's a texture. thing.
I agree. I don't like tomatoes either.
The actual flavor of tomato is okay. The
telling yourself that.
texture is the worst part.
And the worst part of the worst part is the middle seedy wet part.
Yeah.
It's the gritty. It's like the gritty, mushy. Ugh. Okay. All right. I mean, this is a podcast, so I have to paint a picture for the people not watching on YouTube. If you just want to know why, I like salsa. That's the next follow up question every time. So you don't eat salsa? Well, no, it's like drowning in other things. So,
All right.
here we go.
Tomato. Get some of that.
Oh, that's a nice big bite. It's all in there.
Wow.
Look at that. Diving right in.
I'm proud.
He's
Wow.
going back for seconds. Even I think Dylan has changed his mind on tomatoes. Look at that face. He's enjoying this.
Oh, I didn't account for chew time, so you need to fill the dead.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, it's still just as bad. I don't know.
All right, one down. Good job. I'm really proud of you for
Yeah.
you didn't have to eat the whole thing.
Easy game. Easy
Look,
game.
if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right. I'm not gonna.
You might not want to say that. Some of the portions moving
All right.
forward are a little large.
Okay,
It's
so
just a nice bite.
that was a hearty slice of tomato plus a little extra, and I ate it all.
So for your game, before we move forward, for this one last shot thing, do you want to have like a? Are you willing to give tomatoes another? Do you want one final
Has your
question?
opinion changed?
Okay,
That's the question.
has it?
Would you? No, it's still gross. I don't want it. A slice on a burger. I don't want it. No, I don't. It's still gross.
Okay, still gross. Tomatoes, still gross. It's a good thing.
Oh, what is it? What did you get?
It's Mountain Dew.
All right.
But now that you are allowed to ration and allowed to have an extra Gatorade, you might want to. Yep. All right.
Little baby sip.
All right, Corey's turn. Okay, gonna start with
Black licorice. One of my favorites.
now. I had fewer things on my I don't like list,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna have some things twice.
Right.
Dylan has more things on his list, so he has.
9 different things.
So I'm gonna just.
Come on, old man. You've got the old man palate now with the molasses cookies. Black licorice can't be that bad.
It's so bad.
Oh, come on.
It's so bad. And
You know what?
is when I bought these, the flavor on the bag is just licorice.
Yeah.
Right.
They can't actually think of a good word to describe
No,
it.
so is licorice the flavor of black licorice?
Gosh, where are you guys from? Yes, licorice root. Is
all
a
other
thing.
Twizzlers are strawberry, cherry.
Right. They're
Licorice is the bad black.
not licorice root. Yes. All of the other stuff is not licorice. They're just calling it that.
I would just like to point out I don't have any beverages.
I'll wait till the end on Gatorade.
No,
It's fine.
It's
No,
fine.
look, I don't want anyone to say that like we didn't just man up and do the thing.
We weren't
It's
going
like,
to.
he took tiny bites and he took a bunch of drinks in between. Like, no, we'll play by the
It's so
rules.
bad.
I won't have any Gatorade till the end, but I do have my rationable Mountain Dew.
You know, and Twizzlers licorice is actually very mild licorice.
It's still gross. Okay.
So would you reconsider?
Nope. I don't like it. Still don't like it. Peanut butter. Yay.
You're gonna lap that up like the house dog.
I'm rationing the peanut butter. You're
That's
up.
a good one. All right. Oh, there's blue cheese.
What is it? What is it?
At first, I was like, "Oh, olives aren't terrible," and then I realized there's blue cheese in it.
Blue cheese stuffed olives.
Blue cheese.
Now, whatever you
That
don't
is
want
a-
of those, I'm making martinis
That's,
with.
So this
that's
is
a double whammy.
this item is already a little questionable, and then the blue cheese really puts it over the edge.
Oh man.
I have only ever found one cheese that I don't really like, and like blue cheese is it. I can't stand it on anything.
Yeah.
It would completely ruin a salad.
Yeah.
And I don't even like salads. That's saying a lot.
That's-
like
well,
salads
yeah.
are already ruined because they're salads.
Right.
All right. Okay.
It's the one thing that doesn't make rabbit food better.
Yeah. All right.
Here we go.
Wow. All
Three at once. See, now that's the olives. That's the olives talking.
so bad.
I tell you what, I can't.
So bad.
Olives to me, it's a smell thing,
Oh, that's
and then a highly taste thing.
that's the offensive part of olives for you.
There was when I was in college and I worked at one of the cafeterias on campus, and one of the things I had to do was prep like the salad bar.
Yeah.
And we would have like the big 5-gallon bucket full of olives.
Yeah.
And just opening that thing was the worst.
It's such a powerful amount of flavor in such a small. It's a highly concentrated dose of whatever the heck.
Yeah.
Salty. Okay.
I have to say the olive actually almost saved me. If it was just a cup of crumbly blue cheese, I think I might have lost it. Because the olives, I was like almost begging for like little pieces of olive to hit my taste buds. Mm-hmm.
Okay, buddy, you're up.
You're still rolling.
Yay! It's another good thing. He got a Reese's cup.
Yay.
I have to at least take
You
one
have
bite.
to have one bite. Yeah.
Okay, this is pleasant. This is, unless there's like
I'm kind of bummed. that-
tomatoes and blue cheese.
Unless it's
in
a
this.
blue cheese Reese's cup.
Man, if he gets rid of all of his good stuff,
It's going to
Early.
be downhill from
it's
there.
all downhill from there. All right. Oh,
What you got?
beets.
Beets.
Oh, the beats.
Oh,
The
they're
taste
so-
of dirt.
Tomatoes' ugly cousin.
I'm a
Yeah.
little bit upset that you're doing such a heroic job eating the whole thing because
Corey was looking to cop out.
my rule for myself was like I just had to have one good bite.
Well,
You do it
there's
however you
been,
want.
there's been a new precedent.
This
set,
is-
Fred.
I mean,
Three-
the world has men and it has boys, and so if you want to just take a little boy bite,
I actually don't know if you're gonna be able to do this because even like putting them in that in the cup was just.
can I ask you a question before you eat that? Because I want
What?
you to sit and smell it. Do you like pickled eggs?
Nope.
Oh.
Anything that's this color, my mind
Do
my mind goes nope.
do you like
cranberries
do you
are that
like the
color.
taste of dirt except slimy?
Oh, why? Why do people do this?
I'm not a beets guy. I do like pickled eggs. I don't mind the flavor
Never
with
had
the
a
egg.
pickled egg.
Yeah, I don't mind the flavor on the egg.
I feel like talking about pickled eggs is really helping Corey.
Because you know what it is? Like, when you take a bite of a pickled egg, you definitely get that beet type flavor.
Do you?
Just, until you hit the yolk, and then the yolk just sort of flips everything on
The
its
answer is
head.
still no.
Nope. Okay, you wouldn't reconsider.
Nope, would not reconsider beets.
Now, I'm really intrigued to find out if there's ever an item that we would reconsider. Because
Yeah.
these are things we really know we don't like.
Right.
I got another round of that in there somewhere too.
You sure do.
Okay.
No, you haven't had a
I haven't
still,
had a
you're
good
still
thing.
rolling.
You need a good thing.
Yay, Mountain Dew.
Oh man.
Finally, some liquids. Go ahead.
All right.
What is that?
Oh,
What is that?
should we tell them?
Oh. Is this eggnog?
Yep.
Well, here's the thing.
Old-fashioned eggnog.
I found an eggnog that I actually don't dislike now. But most of them I think are garbage.
Does it happen to be? I think it's Kroger Sun aged.
That's probably no. That's not it. No, the
sun-aged.
the Southern Comfort non-alcoholic eggnog.
That was right next to the one I chose.
It was very. If you
Why would?
if you had chosen that, I'd be like, I do reconsider. We'll see.
Here we go.
Maybe this is a really good knockoff of the SoCo non-alcoholic.
Maybe, or maybe you have changed your mind on eggnog. It had just been so long that the Southern Comfort was the first one in the hatch.
Shoot it.
Shoot it. There it is. I heard it, and I heard it slopping down in the microphone. It was in my ears.
That's like the SoCo. I'm okay
Yeah.
with that now. I changed my mind.
Dylan has changed his mind.
Now, I'm not saying that's every kind of eggnog
All
on the
right.
planet,
Yeah.
but whatever this is, yeah.
We're going to
Yeah,
have
I'm
to get him
good.
another one of them olives now because that was a good thing.
And maybe
apparently.
it's just relative. Maybe it's just the best thing
Very possible.
under your grid of 9.
After blue cheese and tomatoes, it's like sweet relief. Okay.
All right, that's not
finally a
good thing.
liquid egg product.
Oh, is this a good? This is good for me, right?
No, it's on your list of bad things.
Mushrooms?
I love mushrooms.
Oh, okay, dang it.
All right.
This is great.
Do we have any more than blue cheese olives?
Please don't.
We sure do. I thought mushrooms were
just
on
gotta
your...
sip. Just gotta sip the juice of the.
Hold
I
on.
could sit and eat a pile of mushrooms.
Hold
Raw.
on. I'm
with dip,
I'm
without
going to
dip.
my notes. Lily, get some olives.
Where are the olives?
They're behind the door.
No.
He needs a bad
Fine.
thing.
Put 3 olives in there.
No, it doesn't have to be 3.
No,
I
A
think
full
we should
cup.
just. I think that we should replace his Mountain Dew and Gatorade with the juice from the olive jar.
He doesn't have mushrooms in there.
No, I love mushrooms. I could sit and eat a whole thing of those.
Oh man. All right, have another olive. Dang it. So we're counting that as good.
You should have at least like pretend like you hated it,
No,
just so you don't have to eat
Just
the
one.
olives.
no
It was hey.
if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right.
No,
If you-
please. I want to
Dude,
save those
just-
for my
just do
martinis. Just one, please. I want those. I love those.
Okay. Only because you're insisting.
Yeah, please. I make 30 martinis at home. Okay. My turn, I guess. Crap. Messed
No,
that up.
isn't that mine? Because that's something I don't like.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Another round of beets.
Yeah.
Ugh. Sorry, I probably peaked us over there.
Oh, I'm sure you did. That's all right.
That's really atrocious.
I'll be glad to get this over with. This is...
Oh, wait a minute, guys. Guys, we're not recording. We need to do this again.
Please tell me you're joking.
Yeah,
okay, this is bad on this is bad on flavor. This is bad on color. This is bad on consistency and texture. This is bad on all fronts.
Just think of that sweet, sweet peanut butter.
It
you
looks
get
like
after
candy
this.
to me.
Slimy dirt.
I'm so glad I had those mushrooms.
I didn't think I was going to enjoy this,
They're absorbing the blue cheese.
How are the cookies?
but here I am.
How are the cookies?
Oh, the cookies are phenomenal. Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
Also, I think we're
I
gonna.
also had one of the spare pieces of black licorice.
I think we're gonna have to break this part of the episode out too into a separate first episode of
Yeah. Yeah.
One Last Shot.
Ah,
Ugh.
kraut. Baby.
Kraut.
Freaking kraut.
In all fairness, there's a thought that I have as Corey chomps down on a cup full of sauerkraut. There's some of the stuff I think that for the last chance challenge,
So much juice dripping off your
Yeah.
mouth hole.
I feel like we need to find things that like that you uniquely don't like among the three of us, and then it's the job of the other two to try to like give you the best option of it to try to convince
I like
you.
that. So that was
Like sauerkraut, prepared sauerkraut tastes almost nothing like what you just ate.
Like good eggnog versus bad eggnog.
Yeah.
I would try other variants of that on my brat.
Okay.
I didn't hate that.
Okay.
It is a prepared jar of sauerkraut. That
Right.
was not terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
All right.
so
Maybe.
I'd like to
Mind is open.
figure out what your best sauerkraut is, or if
I
you have a
make-
good
I
recipe.
make sauerkraut like weekly.
Okay, bring me some of your.
I'll
Yeah,
get you some.
Okay, that was two bad things in a row.
I'll try it. I'll try your prepared sauerkraut. I don't like sauerkraut, but I'll
Yeah.
try.
Hey,
I
a
put some
Snickers.
Bahama Mamas in it.
I got
Yeah.
a Snickers. You're up, bruh.
Snickers. Hey, it's Dylan's turn for the kraut. Just cold from a can.
I don't like how
sauerkraut.
much juice was dripping off your mouth when you ate the sauerkraut.
Not enough to cover my Artius, man.
See, it's that really bitter.
bitter, eh?
It's got like a bitter.
Like briny.
Can't. Yeah, maybe briny. I don't know. Okay.
You enjoying this, Lil?
This is interesting.
What are foods you hate?
The tomatoes was pretty even hard to like smell.
Really?
It was I do not
They don't
like-
smell like anything.
But I don't like he's right, like the consistency too. Just gross.
He's having a hard time. He's having a hard time. He's
He's deep
actually
in thought.
struggling.
He's convincing himself to keep it in the stomach.
All
I
right.
can-
So it's real gross still. Real gross. But once you get that flavor hits you right away.
Yeah.
And so you know exactly what to expect every chew after that until it's gone. It wasn't something like the olives and the blue cheese where I was getting like, beat down by the blue cheese and then I'd get a reprieve with a tinge of olive and then
Right.
I'd get more blue cheese. I just had to like press through that initial.
Yeah. Every
It was
time you
very
chewed,
gross.
it was just more sauerkraut.
I wouldn't give that sauerkraut ever another shot, but I'm willing to try. If you say that yours is much better than like a jarred or whatever, I'll try yours. But that was gross. I would not.
Okay. Would not repeat.
Don't want it. Don't
Would not
like it.
repeat. Well, it wasn't a good thing.
Teddy Grahams.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
All right. Have you ever had bear meat?
Yeah, I've killed a few.
Oh. Okay.
It's really stringy.
Down to 2.
Freaking A, dude.
A little bit more black licorice for the Corey. There it goes.
So it's a root.
Licorice root. I think that Twizzlers are probably artificially flavored. But
Mhm.
that's what they're artificially trying to
It's earthy.
Gross.
Okay.
Very popular in the Scandinavian countries, licorice is.
Weird.
There was no other option on the licorice. Like Kroger's candy aisle did not have any. I thought they'd have some like old timey,
Yeah.
like a section.
I'm surprised they didn't.
Nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. My math says this can't be a good thing.
It's your second helping of sauerkraut.
Okay.
Just imagine you've got a Polish sausage in your mouth
The
there.
the only other thing that was on my foods that I hate list was animal organs, and I didn't know how to buy that.
It's there. It's at the store.
Like, well, what's the safe way to consume that?
I don't know. Have you ever seen Liver King?
Uh-uh.
You don't know who I'm talking about? He eats it raw.
Yeah.
So-
I know that guy.
You know that guy?
He's like a hippie health nut.
Yeah. I mean, he's an Instagram character, right? He's a caricature of something when he's in front of a
I'm
camera.
gonna wash down my black licorice with some sauerkraut. Have you ever heard that sentence before on planet Earth? You're welcome.
Okay. You're done, so I got to finish my last cup, right?
And you've already had your 3 good things.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Oh, no.
This could not have worked out any better.
This is the worst.
Nope. Well, hold on. Go ahead. No, say what you're gonna say.
This is the possible worst thing that could have been last.
Tell him what it is.
And I even thought, maybe I've got some of his licorice or some of his something else. He didn't do me dirty and put like the worst, my least favorite thing of all time.
Which is?
Onions, a bunch of chopped onions.
Raw onions.
Raw.
Now, hold on. It gets better. I have done you dirty. I've done you extra dirty. What food do onions ruin most for you? What restaurant?
Oh, well, Taco Bell or McDonald's.
I went to Taco Bell. Those are Taco Bell onions.
So they're like superpower onions.
I asked for a side of onions.
All right.
Wouldn't that be fun? I know that you didn't just get a side of onions. You ordered other
I
stuff
also
along
got
with
lunch.
I did
Yeah,
not.
okay,
I
it's
did
still-
not save enough of my good stuff
That'd be
to
that,
get through this cup. I was foolish.
Folks, listen. Like, of all the things that I thought he might throw up over, onions. And I had another thing of
I
onions.
just noticed the trash can that he brought over next to us.
I had a yellow onion that I cut up, but I'm like, nah, it's got to be Taco Bell onions.
All right.
They're still regular onions.
All right. I just got to do it. I can't sit and think about it. I just got to do it. This is the worst. This is the worst. This is the worst. This is the worst.
Hey man,
He's not putting on airs.
just
He's
a-
really
yeah.
This is
struggling.
the worst. This is the worst.
Hey, listen, it's a vegetable, grows in the ground like anything else.
It's no big deal. People eat it all the
The
time. It's
Native
not a big deal.
Americans, whatever, gave
This
it
is-
to us as a gift.
Yep. This is the worst. I want you to know that this is
He's looking
100%.
dead into the camera.
This is not me putting on, like, this is not comedic emphasis to make this funnier.
okay, comedic.
This
Yeah, I was
is
going to say comedic. It is comedic.
this
but
is it is funny
intention-
for
right.
you, and this is
It's-
very
it's-
serious and anxiety ridden now for me. I just
sorry.
want you to know. Okay.
I'm sorry, man. 2 years in a row now, Michigan. That's pretty cool.
Oh, and there's so much of it in here. I'm gonna
Not only-
get a heaping scoop
but they're
just
like-
for you.
By like 30 points, man. Someone gonna pull a
is
Rich
the worst. This is
Rich
the
Eisen.
worst.
I'm gonna pull a Rich Eisen while he's doing there. Hey, somebody asked me what I thought about Michigan's blowout win over Ohio State.
No.
Somebody, oh, he's getting through it. He's getting through it. The Zen and the art of.
He's trembling. He's actually trembling.
Oh boy.
No.
Okay.
So many pieces
Hey.
in my mouth.
We're proud of you, Dylan.
Hey,
You're almost there, pal.
we ran the table. You did
Hey.
it. You don't have to finish the rest. Mercy.
Mercy.
Nope, never go back. Never.
Never going back to onions?
Shot. That was last shot. Last shot ever.
I am so proud of you. That was a heaping.
That surprises me. Of all the things that you ate, that the onions.
Really?
That is
Oh, it's
interesting.
Hates them since childhood.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
That's crazy.
So many pieces.
That's crazy.
So many.
Somebody asked me what I think about Michigan's blowout win against Ohio State. Anyone going to ask me?
I don't think so. I think.
Anyone going to ask?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. That's fine.
Go ahead, Kendall.
Go ahead. What do you mean?
We want to know what you think about
no.
Michigan's blowout win against Ohio State.
Which one?
You feel good?
That was a little. I stole that, and I'm a
You
thief.
feel good?
I stole that from Rich Eisen, who stole it from Donovan Edwards when he was asked after the game, "What'd you think about that long touchdown run at the end of the game?" And his answer was, "Which one?"
Yeah, that's great.
Enjoyed that. All right.
Congratulations on a Michigan victory.
Yeah.
My brother, I'm so proud of you. I cannot believe you did that without vomiting.
Dude, yeah. Props to you both.
It's the worst.
There it is.
So the only thing that we would give a second chance is sauerkraut and eggnog.
There you go.
I'm glad that there were two.
Yeah.
There was
Sauerkraut
two.
and eggnog. We can make a soup.
And it would have to be the right, because I've still had really bad eggnog. So it would have to only be.
But how long ago was that, though, that you had the really bad eggnog?
I feel like I've had bad eggnog in the last year or two.
Okay. All right.
God, the onions are still there.
I think
They will be.
we take
They
an
will
early
be.
break. We reset and we take an early break, and we'll be back with Lily.
Well, maybe we'll all
And,
be back. I don't.
I can't wait for.
I
for
make
her to
no
share-
promises. We'll all be back.
Can't wait for her to share her story. And we'll also do some a round table, just catch up what's going on with each other. All right, we'll be right back after we hear some words from some of our friends in Odd Pods Media.
Hey, I'm Lauren,
And I'm John.
and we host the Beard Al Podcast, the podcast where we talk about two of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al.
And a lot of other things. We're funny.
Yeah, that's basically what I told him to say. Good job with your
I
script.
listen.
Yay! But no, seriously, we try and pair a beer with a Weird Al song and talk about both things and go where the conversation takes us. It's fun, I promise. You'll like it.
Yeah, I mean, if you like talking about random things as well as, fine craft beers and some wonderful craft music.
And we're back. Oh, that was a really fun game. I think we need to clip that whole thing and make that our first episode of what's it called again?
One last shot.
One Last Shot. Why do I keep forgetting the name?
One last shot.
Dylan has now got the rest of the eggnog in front of him. He's gonna be
Swishing it around
He's going to polish that thing off by the time we're done recording.
like I'm at the dentist. Like they're giving me fluoride or something or mouthwash.
Eggnog mouthwash.
But at the end, it's just onions. It's all I can taste after I swish it around. It's just
Yeah.
onions.
That was
So how are we?
Unfortunate.
How are we, everybody? How are we all doing?
all right.
Good. One thing we talk about a lot on the podcast is Sebastian Maniscalco.
We sure do.
And he has a new special, a very recent, even as of when this episode drops, like within like a week.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
A new special. Is It Me? Is his new special. Corey, you watched it.
Yes.
Kendall, have you?
no, I
have
didn't
you
even know
watched-
about it.
Yeah, it was very funny. Maybe a slower start for me than some of his other specials,
Yeah.
but very funny. He's a little edgier in this one, intentionally.
He's a little edgier. He's a little more political. I do really like, just to set the stage a bit, he asked people that had purchased tickets ahead of time to dress in 60s, classy 60s Vegas sort of garb.
Okay.
He really admires that Rat Pack era, early Vegas. And so the aesthetic of the special is very much that. Anyone who actually did dress up he ended up saving the first couple rows. And those people all got to move forward if they dressed up. And that's, one of his things. He makes fun of the ways people dress on airplanes and the
Right.
ways people dress to go to Vegas. And so that was kind of a fun thing. Yeah, it started off a little slower for me. It's definitely not his strongest. I like his earlier stuff better, but it was very good. I still laughed quite a bit. It's a good one.
Yeah, he talks a lot more about being married in the special, which, if that's your situation, it's very relatable. But he still always has this sort of annoyed at the world edge. And interestingly, he most of the time, if people get political, especially in stand up, you can kind of assume which way they go. I would say this was probably leaning a little more conservative in the nature of his jokes and more likely to offend the audience than not. But he clearly doesn't care in the special. And it's not an overtly political thing. It's just kind of pushing back against some of the language that is kind of questionable. Some of the
woke,
a little bit of like woke culture. And so I don't feel like I need to like rehash his points he's trying to make. Somebody can go watch it. Mm-hmm. They'll either like.
I haven't seen it, but along the lines of what you're saying, I think that the bulk of comedians are, because they're at the brunt of it a lot. Like they slip up and say something all the time, and like they feel that.
Yeah, it affects them probably more than most of us.
Yeah, so you listen to some like the inside baseball conversations of comedians with comedians, and they're all and for anti-woke.
And for the same reasons, they're anti-cancel culture, right? Because the one leads to the other. Yeah, it was very good. Speaking of show business, Lily here, you auditioned for your first musical.
I did. We
today.
We had auditions today.
For?
We're doing Little Women, a musical. Yeah.
Wow.
And I wanted to, for anyone who knows Little Women, I auditioned for Amy, the youngest child, because she has the least amount of singing involved. But
but you would have a solo.
Yeah. Well,
a duet rather.
Yeah.
And some speaking lines. So
yeah.
They post the cast list on Friday, so we'll see. Fingers crossed.
That's fun.
What else are you up to these days? What's new in your world?
Flipping on the trampoline has been pretty fun.
Cool.
Listeners are going, isn't it December in Ohio? The answer is yes.
Yes, it is.
She still goes out there. Your goal is to learn a backflip.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've been working on your front flips first.
Yep.
In the cold.
Barefoot. In t-shirts. Cool.
Yeah. Seems wise.
Have you landed a backflip yet?
Not a backflip. I have to do a back handspring first, and then,
Okay, you're working your way up.
Yeah.
Which you think will help you with your skate tricks, because you've been doing a lot of skateboarding. So
balance,
you're like learning balance, learning how to contort to do skate tricks.
Mm-hmm.
Orientation, right? Keeping track of aerial orientation.
Yep.
I don't know if you're spinning around 8 times in the air yet, but it's only a matter of time.
One thing I appreciate about Lily, and there's many, she's one of my favorites of the 3 kids that I have. And your mom and I were talking about this. You get tunnel vision on when you want to learn a thing, you hyper focus on that thing, you do research on that thing. And you've done it so many times in your life when you were trying to make the case for getting another dog in our family.
Mm-hmm.
You did tons of research on what breed would be the best based on our family's preferences and needs. You determined that, oh my gosh, what's Piper? I just blanked.
A Boston Terrier.
A Boston Terrier was the right fit. When you decided you wanted to learn skateboarding, you like zeroed in, you were watching videos, we took you to classes. Like you get very, very hyper focused on the thing you want to learn.
Yes.
So much so that you will like destroy the rest of the house and like just like clear a path. She's doing a craft or learning something, which is a wonderful trait.
Yeah.
So
you can follow my footsteps throughout the house. Lily was here. She was drawing something. And then she went over here and went to the kitchen and grabbed a plate. And you just can see it all.
And it's not that you're messy, because you're not messy. Your room is very tidy, but you're so focused on the end goal of the thing that you're learning or doing
that I forget.
That you forget about everything else in its path. So anyway, it's been fun watching you learn to skate. I think I shared on our Instagram that you had been learning to skate and had finally learned to drop in, which is one of the hardest things to do, where you're at the top of a half pipe or quarter pipe and you have to lean forward and just trust that the skateboard will take you onto the ramp and flat ground. We've been learning a lot from Wally.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Wally over at Old School Skate Shop in Westerville. He's been a great resource for us as you pursue that. But anything else?
I don't think so.
All right, Kendall, anything new in your world before we get into the meat of
the nitty gritty of what's going on here? So Wednesday last week, I hit a deer. And it made me think about something that I'm curious about. You recently, Corey, told a story of someone else who had hit a deer.
Yeah.
and you had stopped and helped dispatch said deer.
Yeah.
And so I was driving. It was dark. There's a car in front of me on a country road, but like when there's a car in front of me, like my guard goes down. Like I feel like that's the time for my mind to rest. Like I don't have to freak out about deer right now.
Yeah. Because they're going to
Still-
hit it.
Yeah, because they're going to hit it, not me. And no, the deer totally ran up from alongside me and then cut me off, and I nailed the thing, and I saw it early enough that I was able to like slam on the brakes. There was nobody behind me. And
It
so,
was
like,
running alongside you first?
so in my peripheral, I remember it coming at an angle
Okay.
up toward me.
Gotcha.
right? And so I think it got like scared out of the ditch or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so like I felt like it hit pretty hard,
Yeah.
and I hit it low, so it didn't like come up onto the windshield. It
Yeah.
was like down on the ground, and I watched as the deer then like rolled across the street,
Yeah.
kind of scampered, and then like I thought I saw it maybe start to get up, but I was still rolling, and my car was still operating perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And so I did not stop. And it made me think, like, are you supposed to stop? So, because what I actually did was, like, I was a few miles away from here. I was coming here. and so, like, there was an even more remote country road that I could turn left onto, where I could just then drive like 30 miles an hour all the way here and then get out and then take a look at the car. And so that was my plan. That's what I did. And as it turns out, like after I got the car cleaned up, there was mud and stuff on the
Yeah.
car. Like there's a little crack on the plastic of the bumper that unless you knew it was there, you probably wouldn't see it.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Wow.
Nothing else happened.
Wow.
And that crack, I think, still is some tufts of fur.
Yeah.
But
The deer, though,
the deer, though,
is still there.
was I supposed to? No, on the way back. I was looking for it, didn't see it.
Do you know if it was a buck or a doe?
Doe.
Yeah, I don't know what the etiquette there is, but I imagine most people just stop, even if they assume their vehicle's fine, just to confirm that it's not fine shortly after impact, and therefore could go back and see the state of the deer while they
Yeah.
were already stopped.
Well,
you were
I'm
just
thinking-
like, it's probably fine.
Well, I'm thinking it's probably it seems to be fine enough.
Your
for
car, I
me.
mean.
Yes, the
Yeah.
car seemed to be fine enough that like I could get it to where I was going, because that would be if I had to like let it sit overnight and get it towed or something like that. That's a far different situation from being on the side of the road. And so, you know, I changed on the digital gauges to where I could watch the engine temperature and stuff, and like I gave the car a couple little tests to make sure like I wasn't feeling any looseness,
Pulling in one direction. Or
yeah,
anything.
and there was nothing like that going on.
Hey, then
So I just decided, you know, I'll limp this thing to where I'm going, because that is far more convenient.
that's
than
what the
being out
deer
here.
said. I'll just limp this thing to where I'm going.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I don't know.
I
if
don't
they're-
know.
Well,
That's
one
a
thing,
great question. What would you do, Dylan?
one thing we can say definitively we've learned from Tommy Boy is don't put it in the back of the car.
Yes.
So I don't know what to tell you what to do, but I can tell you what not to
What
do.
not to do?
Right.
Just because you think it's dead
Yeah.
doesn't mean
Don't
that
put it
is.
in the back
It
of the
could
car.
just be sleeping. Yeah, that's an interesting question. What would you do, listener? Do you go back and check the state of the newly wounded deer, or do you just keep on trucking? It's a good question.
Or do you
Is it-
pull
can
a
it-
Corey and put a cap in it?
Make sure.
Just make sure.
There's one more quick story, because this is the second time that I've hit a deer. The first time, it was a long time ago. I'm driving my truck.
It was on Halloween.
It was on. I'm on a 2-lane road. I'm on 315. If you're familiar with Central Ohio, 315 north of Columbus, and so I've got like a river right to my right the entire drive, and like middle of the night, no other cars on the road, and I have no swerving room, right, because that puts me in a river, and so I'm driving and I see a deer in the street, the opposite lane. And so I slow way down to like 10 miles an hour. And this deer then like gets spooked and starts running, but is running next to me, heading the same direction I'm heading. So this deer, so like I'm driving now like 15, 20 miles an hour, deer right there. Like running alongside me for like a solid 5 seconds. Deer's just right there. And then he starts to like veer toward me. I think because he's like trying to keep an eye on me, and that's naturally making his body veer toward. And so I start slowing down again, going about 10 miles an hour or so, when the deer like then turns his head to look, and I just smack him with my mirror.
That's the second time a deer has cut you off in traffic.
Like I saw it the whole time. I thought for sure eventually this deer was just going to run off, but I smacked it across the face with my mirror.
Oh my gosh.
It fell over and then promptly got up and ran away.
Wow.
I know I did not kill that one. I probably killed this one a week ago, but
Wonder where it went on your way back. Maybe some.
I mean, I for sure injured the thing.
Depending on what part of the country you're in, when people hit deer, if there are, sheriffs involved, they'll go, "You want it?"
Right.
They'll give you the option, like, "Do you want to take this and have it processed?" And
well, I mean, given the area that we are, it's possible that I did kill the thing. It was in the ditch, and then somebody drove by and be like, "Hey, dinner."
And it's the same reason why you see what were bucks with no head, because guys want to take the antlers or the whole. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Fun times. Well, so why is Lily here? Well, this summer, Lily went to stay at Dylan and I's dad's house for a couple nights. You guys had like a little.
Yeah.
It's really kind. They take each kid for quality time over the summer. A couple days, hikes, do the things that specific kid likes to do.
Love it.
And when we picked Lily up,
Just you.
when I picked Lily up, our stepmom said, "Has Lily told you about this thing she's going to tell you guys?" And I said, "No." And then, of course, Lily and I get in the car. We get all of her stuff. We're now leaving Grandma and Grandpa's to drive 1 hour back home. And Lily proceeds to tell me this thing. And both of us were crying, laughing. And I don't know that you and I have ever laughed so hard together as you're telling me about this thing.
The reason I was laughing is because I thought this was just a normal thing. And then you kind of like opened my eyes to, this isn't like a bad thing. It's just, this is what actually happened.
So I brought Lily on to tell the two of you. And I have prefaced with her multiple times, we're not making fun. We're laughing. So we've laughed, we've cried. It's been hilarious. So please feel free to ask a bunch of questions and do a lot of laughing.
Wait.
It's more interesting the more questions you ask.
You're not gonna. She knows we're not making fun. This is a fascinating and fun thing that we've talked about a lot now. So Lily, I turn it over to you, and now I just get to watch your Uncle Dylan's face and Kendall's face as you explain this thing.
Okay, so
Speak loudly.
I'm gonna preface it in like a short sentence, and then after you react, I'll then just explain because it's okay. So basically, when I go to bed at night, there's like a period of time from just laying down and then actually falling asleep. In that period of time, I have an imaginary secretary monkey in my brain that controls my thoughts. Not controls my thoughts, but he like organizes my brain, basically.
Imaginary secretary.
Yeah.
Monkey.
Named Toby.
Toby. Okay.
Yes.
Toby.
Yes.
Okay. He organizes your brain
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
And how long does this take?
From when I lay down to whenever I fall asleep.
Okay.
Which is usually how long?
Sometimes, like on school nights when I'm really tired, it's maybe like 10, 15 minutes.
Uh-huh.
But on sometimes when it's like I can't fall asleep, it could sometimes be like a solid like hour of this.
So, okay, let me follow up.
This is perfect.
So does Toby have like a cart that he pushes around with like your thoughts? You visually in your mind. When you say organize, I assume you mean organize anything that goes through your brain. So does Toby have like pieces of paper in folders on carts that he like pushes around, and is this like putting
Can-
books away at a library? Where
Or is it because I want to get what's in my head now too?
Sure,
so I can
sure.
compare and contrast these two things before we hear the answer.
Okay.
In my head, the monkey is very much like. Have you ever seen Mad Money with Jim Cramer?
yes.
That's what I'm envisioning. Is he's got like a half circle desk, and the monkey is standing up, hair all mangled, and he's all crazy and jittery and throwing things around. That's what I'm.
You were closer with the first half of that.
Okay.
So basically, whenever I close my eyes, I walk into like this office, and he's sitting there at a desk with a suit,
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah,
and
of course,
he's got
of
like
course
a
he is.
file cabinet next to him.
Right.
But that's not really the main part. Then the main thing is like, have you ever seen Inside Out?
Well, naturally, there's a monkey.
Right.
The
Yeah.
file cabinet
Yeah.
can't be the main part. Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Inside Out?
Yes.
Okay, it's kind of like that desk. He's got like tons of buttons and levers. And in front of his desk is this like glowing circle on the floor, kind of like a carpet.
Mhm.
And I stand on that. And he asks me like which world I want to go to. And so like, if he's like, do you want to go to Star Wars World? Do you want to go to Avatar World?
Wow.
And I tell him, but it's like a ton of options, kind of like on a Wii when you're like switching through the different options. It's like that.
Okay.
And like different worlds, and I pick which one. And then I go into that world and I can be a part of it. So like Star Wars, I could be a Jedi and I could like fight with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So this is an imaginary place you've gone to keep your brain humming along till you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I
But,
can,
but Toby is the liaison to these
Yeah.
worlds.
Yeah.
Toby is the intermediary between pre-Dreamland. It's less about organizing your thoughts and more about him ushering you to which world you'd like to visit that evening before
Yes.
bed.
Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a small steer. Keep going.
Okay. I would like you to try to describe Toby a little bit. Just
Okay.
shade of brown. What kind of suit?
Oh no.
is he
there's-
short or tall?
Does
Oh,
he sound
yeah.
like Christopher Walken? Because he does in my head.
So any of those things.
So there's actually more than just Toby. He has a family.
okay. There's a family
Yes.
of Tobys.
Wow.
But before we get to this film, I'll explain what Toby is. So basically,
Yeah.
he's kind of like Curious George, but you know how Curious George has like super tiny ears?
Uh-huh.
He has like big cartoon monkey ears,
Okay.
like 3/4 of the size of his face.
You've offended the monkey portion of our audience. But
Okay,
that's fine.
caricature ears. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when Dad picked me up from Grandma and Grandpa's, I had drawn Toby, so he could actually see what Toby in the
There was
desk
a visual. Okay.
and the filing cabinet.
We'll
with
share
the
that on our
picture.
social media channels.
Maybe it's better that I don't know. Okay. So size of Curious George, but large cartoonish. Now, is this a Donald Duck situation? Does he have pants? Or is this
Yes,
just
he
like a
does.
suit jacket?
No, he also he doesn't like walk like a monkey. He like walks like a human. Just to be clear.
But he's short, like Curious George.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Tail.
Does he have a full suit though?
Yes. It's a full suit.
Shoes, pants.
Yes. It's all black and white, kind of
Okay.
like just like a tux.
Like a tux. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kendall.
Does he have a tail?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
But it's like a small little nub, so you don't really see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nub tail.
Nubbin. But large ears.
Yes.
Okay.
Small tail, big ears.
It seems like he'd be a little bit of an outcast in his own world. Maybe.
Is he? Do you get that
Do
feeling?
you get the sense he's like socially confident?
Well, he kind of only like works with like me and his family, so
Okay.
he doesn't really like get out in the world much. But that's his choice.
you don't know much of his
He wouldn't
backstory.
know.
Yeah.
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 He's perfectly content where he is.
Does
Yeah.
he? Does he do this for other people, or is it just
No,
you?
no, just me.
Just for you.
What about his family? Do they host Other Brains? Or?
No, so
What about extended family? Like, do you think he has like? Is this a family business?
You'll be shocked at how many these questions she has answers to.
no, I know all of them. So he has like a home separate
Okay.
from my brain,
Okay.
and he has a wife and 2 kids.
Okay.
He has an oldest daughter and a younger son,
Okay.
and his wife likes to do yoga. So
Okay.
a few weeks ago, I offered
This is hot off the press.
This is actually true. I'm not joking. I offered to him before I went into one of my worlds. I was like, "Hey, do you want to open a yoga place for your wife next door?" And he was like, "We'll see. I'll have to ask her about that." So the next night, he comes back to me with a response, and his wife is interested. But then he said that it would be difficult because of the kids. So I offered to build a daycare next to that for the kids after
Yeah.
their school.
There's got to be some video game influence to this. This is clearly like a God mode situation where you're
Yeah.
crafting the world. There's the big hand in the sky that's like snap, building appears, snap. So there's this like reciprocal.
Right. Do you
Like-
feel like you're that big hand?
Yes, but it's not like I can just do whatever I want, because the more work that I do, the more things I ask for and the more difficult things I ask for, the more paperwork Toby has to do that night,
Of course.
because he gets really busy.
The brain bureaucracy, I hear, is a nightmare.
Yeah.
All of that pun intended.
Which is why some nights his wife gets really mad at me because I ask him to do so much work.
The boss has asked him to stay late,
Yeah.
and the wife is upset.
Yeah.
I love this. I want to make my own little world.
Yeah, Case,
When
I
I go
offered
to sleep.
I offered my brother to do
I gotta
one.
be honest with you. Nothing is better preparing you for life than this monkey Toby. It's like there's real consequences to my actions. I don't want to give Toby a bunch more work.
Yeah, which is why Toby has vacation time, and we have a replacement.
Okay,
Her name is Judy, and she's a bunny, and she
from
replaced.
from like Zootopia.
Yes.
Okay.
And she, but not like she's like a different type of style of art
Oh,
for her.
okay,
So
okay.
she's a little different. Yeah.
So just so let's slow down here. Okay. Tell me about your like regular interaction each night. So you're in the carpet square thing.
Yeah.
You've got this, was it like a half circle of screens of the worlds?
It's like a rectangle, but like it just like circles around, and it's a picture of like each world.
So you can swipe
yeah.
through them.
Yeah.
Like cycle
And
through
what are the
which,
different worlds?
I have a list at home of all of them, so I don't forget. I have like Star Wars, Harry Potter, Marvel. I recently watched the anime Fruits Basket, and that was really good, so I added that one to there.
Oh yeah, we need to talk about anime with you before you
Yeah,
go.
That's right.
I do not. I only watch the show. I'm not a excessively anime
Good girl.
viewer.
Good
Yeah.
girl.
You got that piercing.
So Fruits Basket. What are
Yeah.
some others?
Yeah.
I have to think now because that's why I have the list, because I forget.
So you walk in. Does he greet you? Do you greet him?
Sometimes he's working when I come in, so I have to kind of like just like wait, and then he's like, all right, which world do you want to go to today? And then I go into the little thing, and he like pushes a button, and all the things come up, and then I like swipe. But sometimes we interact before I start going into
Are
my
there
world.
ever snacks? Does he offer you like snacks?
He has like a little mini fridge with him
So he
next to
can.
his like
Well,
file
it seems
cabinet.
fair that he'd have a place to keep his lunch if
Yeah.
he's working long hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is when you go straight to the world? What happens? Is this like Mary Poppins jump through the picture painting, or is this like the classic like portal like
No,
feel
Mario 64.
Mario? There's a tube.
It's like in Thor when he like does the thing and like the thing comes down.
Oh,
but
like
it's
the
all,
rainbow.
Yeah, but it's like all white. It's not like red. It's like all white, and it like
Okay,
zaps
so
me.
that thing like zaps you in.
Yeah, and then I can, if I've not started the world yet, like some worlds I haven't actually gone to yet, then it will like put me wherever I want to be. But then if I've already started the world, it puts me where I was before,
Oh, that makes sense.
so I
And
can
is this
continue.
is this goodbye to Toby at this point?
Sometimes it is. Sometimes I forget to come back and tell him like.
Well, he's
Goodbye.
free
free
to
to, he's
But
free
he
to
has
go.
he has like a time that he can just go. And then sometimes I forget, and so he just goes at that time. Other times, if I come back early, I can tell him like, "All right, good night."
Have you ever come back late and he's not there?
Well, so if I come back late, then he's not there. I
Okay.
just
He's gone home for the day.
yeah.
That's
But
all
if
right.
it's past that time, then I don't even come back. Sometimes I'll just
Right.
kind of like just go to sleep because there's no point in going
Have,
back. if
have
he's
you
not
ever
there.
left it while Toby was there and then Judy had to take over? Did he have like any kind of emergency?
No, because the
It's-
only thing he has to do is when I get there, tell me where to go. Like
You open the portal to where you
yeah,
want to go.
but once I'm in the world, he doesn't really have much else to do except for
other
paperwork.
than paperwork.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like in the Marvel one, there was one where I wanted Natasha or Black Widow to come
Sure.
back. And that was like a lot of paperwork for him because
Oh.
like bringing someone back from the dead
What
was
you
like
do in the world also creates paperwork.
yeah.
So is
Well,
this like
bring in-
damage control?
Yeah.
Like,
So he's
or he's like the insurance adjuster.
is he operating the world then? Like is he putting the the world into motion for you?
I'm controlling it, but when I do things, it's like I'm buying something and he's like processing their receipt.
Why is he who is he reporting to? Why does he need to process a receipt?
We don't talk about that. He just does.
Okay.
He just does.
Or
it.
is it more that there's a ripple effect of your decisions?
Yeah.
If it's counter to like a story like Black Widow where you Lily know the outcome. You're asking him to change it.
Yes.
So that has a cost.
Yeah. So
That
if
needs to be well documented
like-
with HR.
like sometimes I'll follow the Marvel storyline. I'm
Yeah.
just there as another character, like as another Avenger.
Yeah.
That's
are you
mostly
like
easier.
Lily? But there's like now a Lily character in there, or are you someone else?
My name is always Lily, but sometimes I'm like, maybe I don't know, like I'm a
Could be-
sibling to someone. Like maybe I'm
Okay.
someone's sibling.
Hawkeye's niece
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah. But I'm
Okay.
still Lily technically.
Gotcha.
I mean, the Toby element of this is really fascinating.
Yeah.
So what are the kinds of things he has to do paperwork for? Is it like code, like he has to type code to account for everything, or is it like only monetary purchases? Like if you went to the Call of Duty world and you bought new camo armor and new gun upgrades, he has to have receipts.
No, because that's part of the game. That's already in the game. It's if I try and change things. Like if I were playing Call of Duty, I would ask him like if there's a new weapon that I want to be invented that's not actually there.
Oh, that
then
has
he
to
has-
be accounted for.
Yeah.
So if there's no bazooka in Call of Duty and you're like, I want a double bazooka.
Yeah.
I just made it up in my brain and I want
Yeah.
it to exist. Toby's got to is it a financial transaction, or does he have to like draw up the diagram and invent it so that there's like blueprints and then a purchase order, and then like Boeing or Lockton or one of those companies will then like make it and then he ships it? Like how much of the process is there?
Well, this is going to seem off topic, but he has 2 different printers.
I don't think anything.
Wow.
It's off topic at this point.
It's all fair game.
True.
Okay.
He has 2 different printers.
2 printers. Okay.
One printer prints like things he needs printed, like, oh, I got to print this to send over here.
Well, and we're in a new era. Do you mean 3D printer or a paper printer?
Paper printer.
Okay.
2 paper
Yes.
printers.
One
Okay.
of them is just like he can print whatever he wants, and then one automatically prints like a receipt thing into like a stack, and then he gets that pile and takes that home at night if he doesn't finish. He takes
Okay.
it home and he signs things, reads things, make sure they're
And I imagine that's like perforated paper to where it folds itself onto a pile as it
Like
comes
a
out.
dot matrix
Yeah.
printer.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Beautiful.
his work really only begins if you're changing the pre-established rules of whichever universe.
yes. And all the papers that he has are in a file room, which is a whole separate world in like the thing.
So
It goes into a file room. with
if you're
rows.
in Star Wars world and you're using the Force,
Yep.
that's the Force is already understood in Star Wars world. Nothing for him to do there.
Yeah. But if
If
I want
you're in
to
Marvel world and use the Force, it's gonna be an all-nighter because he's creating a rule in
Yeah.
that universe that doesn't already exist.
Yeah, or if I'm in Star Wars world and I want a pink lightsaber, which doesn't exist, he has to do that. Because we
Okay.
don't know if there's a pink stone
don't.
to put into the
Yeah.
lightsaber.
We know
Kyber
yellow. We
crystal.
know white. We know certain purple, green, blue, red.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This is a lot.
So you said did you say both printers? The one printer is automatic and the other printer, what does the other printer do?
The one printer is automatic. Like when I do stuff in a world, he's receiving all those receipts as they come in.
It's just a live stream.
Receipt meaning explanation of change.
Yeah, so like
Okay.
at this time, Lily did this
So-
in this instance.
Yeah, so it's like a timekeeper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other printer is like maybe he loses one of the copies, and so he has to go to his download and
It's
reprint
just his whatever printer.
Yeah.
And it finds
Yeah.
a dank meme, wants to print it out. Like
Yeah.
it's that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He found a recipe on one of his breaks
Yeah. And
Right.
yeah.
that he wants to take home to his
Yeah.
wife. Probably banana bread. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay. Have you ever looked in his mini fridge?
Sometimes if I like am imaginary thirsty or like I need something, I can like ask him,
Okay.
but it's like it refills itself because it's my brain, so it just kind of like
Right.
it's always full.
That's convenient.
Does he get it for you, or are you allowed to go get it yourself?
His desk is his space. that's
So don't.
his
There's an
business.
understanding.
He would reach in and like
You don't
grab
want to know
a
what
bottle of
happens.
Yeah.
lemonade and hand it to you.
Yeah.
Toby is very territorial.
Yeah.
Can you please tell the vacation thing?
Which one?
The vacation story?
Oh, when
When you thought you had asked
oh
a lot?
yeah. So there was a world or something where I had like asked him to do a lot of things, and I had like they were like really difficult things, and his wife was a little frustrated, and I didn't want there to be bad vibes between me and the wife, so I just gave him some extra vacation time, and so him and his family went on vacation, and I had Judy come in, and she was
Sure.
there.
Is she
And-
allowed to get drinks from the fridge?
Yeah, but I have to like give her like a debrief of how everything works because
Oh, 'cause
and like
she's new.
and sometimes like Toby like writes stuff for her to know because he
that
doesn't.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Where'd Toby go on vacation?
It depends. So wherever he wants to go.
No,
Is
that-
he allowed to go into the worlds on vacation?
Oh.
No, because he's not. He's like an animal world kind of like that's his like.
Like a Zootopia.
Yes.
He would
Yeah.
he would go back to that kind of world.
Yeah.
He's not interested in your preferred
Yes.
fandom worlds.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Is there an age that you remember this starting? Has it been since we've lived in this house?
Yeah.
So that's
yeah.
8 years.
I didn't do it at our past house. Probably since I was like 10 or 11.
So there are back to real life. There are two things that are true when Lily goes to bed.
Oh yeah.
One, she always has to have a blanket over her eyes or pillows
And
over
ears.
her eyes and ears. This is before I knew about the brain monkey. The second thing that she really kindly asks is, once you guys tuck me in, please don't come back into the room. Like if you've already shut the door and said goodnight, I really prefer that you don't come back. And this is also before we knew about Brain Monkey.
Mm-hmm.
So while we were talking about her coming on the podcast tonight, we both realized that both of those things directly correlate
With the brain monkey.
with the Brain Monkey.
Oh, yeah.
Because she has to have total focus.
Yeah, it's really because I can't like do it like while I'm at school. Like I can't the lights and the people and
Well,
the
I don't think
sounds.
Toby would want you to be distracted
Yeah.
either.
He wants my full attention.
Sure.
And then obviously don't come back in is like, I was already talking to Toby about his day.
Exactly, yeah.
And about to go into Marvel World and you've now messed it up.
Yes.
You would react very strongly if we came back in the room.
No, like one time I think mom came back in and she like wanted to tell me something like dad's taking you to school tomorrow, and I was already like asleep and I had to take off the blanket and like what mom, and she's like dad's taking you to school tomorrow. I'm like okay, good night, and she like
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you ever had such a good conversation with Toby or Judy that you decided not to go to a world?
Yes, that
So,
has happened.
Like you'll just chit chat with them the whole time.
Yeah.
These are good questions.
What's the most interesting thing that Judy or Toby has ever told you they had going on?
Well, his kids play sports, so sometimes he'll just kind of like small talk about his kids' sports. Like his
Sure.
son plays soccer or whatever, so
Yeah.
I'll tell him about that. Or like, yeah,
Does anybody in the Monkey family play the cymbals?
no,
Or
It's not.
do they ever wear marching band costumes?
no, I don't think so.
Man,
I'm
Yeah.
thinking of the monkey from Umbrella Academy. If anybody's seen that show, so say what you thought was going to happen on the podcast tonight when you told this story that we were going to say.
Oh yeah, I was like, they're gonna think I have like an actual problem. Like, bring in a therapist. Like, we've got
Well,
some
I
things.
mean, we're gonna
we've got
talk
some
later,
things. We've got some things to discuss.
But you've done some research. What's the term that you came up with for what you think might be going on?
It's called paracosm, and it's like primarily in children, where you just have an imaginary world. By far, not as complex as I've clearly made it, but
No, it says that in the definition you looked up this week.
I mean,
where it was like,
it depends. But most of the time, it goes away within a few months.
but
so.
the definition of paracosm, more than just an imaginary friend, would be like, there's very specific rules and details, and there's a whole
Mhm.
history of the world that a child creates. I was just like
this is amazing.
fascinated by her creativity.
I mean, I would
and
say, like-
only a small amount of concern.
Yeah, hang on to it, right?
Yeah.
Because if you lose that, then
Oh,
then you'll
yeah.
grow up and you'll turn into the rest of us. Where like
Yeah.
we spend those moments before we drift off to sleep, like worried about the things that are going to kill us.
And
Like-
frankly, this sounds like a really easy pitch to Disney as a video game.
Sure.
Like they already own a bunch of the franchises. Like it would not be hard
Yeah.
to like pitch.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of the main menu is like talking to Toby, but there's all kinds of little interaction things you can do at Toby's level. And then you still have the option to go to like Marvel, Star Wars, whatever worlds.
Well, it's a lot like the Disney Infinity platform,
Right.
where
right.
you would buy. It was a platform that plugged into your console, and you'd buy the action figures and place them on the platform.
So Disney has already commandeered this idea.
Or Lily's Brain Monkey is loosely based off of a lot of these different worlds and abilities.
And like when I watch I think a major reason this started was because like when I would watch a movie and I'd be like, wow, that was a really cool movie. Like, wouldn't it be so cool if I could just like be in Avatar or be in Star Wars or whatever? And like that sounds so cool. And sometimes I'd get like frustrated that I couldn't. So I'd like
I
write
understand.
so I would write like a story where I'm in it. But it was hard because my brain would move faster than my hands. And so I couldn't like and like grammar and stuff like that. So it's just easier just imagine it instead of like writing it.
I feel that way after watching Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I just want it to rain food, and I want to swim in my favorite pop. And
By the way, if you keep coming up with stories, try to type them. But also, a lot of people use voice memos
That is true.
to just literally talk through it all out loud at rapid paces. You can always go back and write it down.
That
But
is true.
like voice memo on your iPhone might be a good friend.
is your dream shaped by what world you decided to go into, or does it not always correlate? So
like my actual dreams.
yeah, so let's say you chose Marvel World, but dreamt something completely different, or do they sometimes correlate?
They almost never correlate. Like literally, I did this last night. I think I was in like Fruits Basket World or something, and that night I literally had a dream that like mom said the F word, and I was like,
Whoa.
this has nothing to do with what I was just talking about in my brain.
Nice.
So I didn't tell her that. So I forgot.
She doesn't listen. It's fine. Thoughts, guys? Questions?
I'm like you. I'm blown away at the creativity. I think it's a good thing. I think there are lots of, not everything has to be turned into a job and monetized, but like if it's a thing that you think you like doing, do it. If it's a thing you think you want to expand upon for fun, do it. If it's a thing you think you want to like make into a like writing or making games or telling stories and you like to do that, do it. But like I think we all probably have some of that stuff we remember doing, pretend games, make believe stories, and I used to pretend. I'm sure that there were times where I would like sit and pretend like I was a professional wrestler as a kid and imagine what that would be like, or so I think it's awesome.
Yep.
Word. How you doing with the onion taste there, Dylan?
It's so bad. It's just ruined. I can't. The eggnog isn't helping. The Gatorade isn't helping. It's really soured my whole mouth hole.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Kind of.
You got a few notes in the shared note. Is there anything you want to hit on before we bow out?
Well, I can tell a quick story.
And while you're looking that up, just if anybody's listening that has created a world as you fall asleep, or is like hyper imaginative, or has a child that is, and you have any thoughts or input on Lily's fascinating brain monkey Toby, comment below. We'd love to hear about it, and I might need it as a resource.
So, one quick update. We've been without heat. Our furnace, we had to get our furnace got red flagged. It got shut off. We had some guys come out. It's been pretty cold, and so the guys that came out, the technicians, HVAC technicians that came out to take a look, were kind of trying to explain, and carbon monoxide, we got to turn this off, and it's not good. And the owner of the company came out too. They do all kinds of stuff, not just HVAC. The owner of the company came out too, and was telling us a little bit about kind of repeating what the guys said. And, if you need a new furnace, here's what we can do. And there's different options. And so we're talking through that. Well, the next day after we're trying to decide what to do with the furnace, we have a water leak under our sink. And so we call the same company because they also do plumbing. The owner comes back out and he's working on the leak. It's under our sink. It's going in the basement, but fortunately not onto anything in the basement. It's just concrete area. And so Bree and I are sitting in the living room. The owner of the company is now working on our sink, and it's pretty quiet. And then he just, kind of out of nowhere, he's like, "Guys, it's kind of cold in here. Can you turn the heat up?" just the day after. And it was one of those moments where I'm like, "Come on, David." But like, I really appreciated the sense of humor. And he's like, "I really got to be careful of my sense of humor." I'm like, I actually loved it, and I hate that I loved it, but it was really good.
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny. I thought that was good. So
Good job, David.
Good on David for a good sense of humor. He picked the right people to use that joke with. That was,
There you go.
that was pretty good. So that's the only little funny story I have lately.
I had one today when I was picking up Dylan's onions at Taco Bell. I also got myself a burrito and a chalupa. And it was quiet. There were 2 tables that had people dining in, and no one was at the front counter. Everyone else was in the drive-thru. And I placed my order. I sit down for just a little bit, and the guy that took my order, older gentleman, and he stays at the register because he's seated. He's not standing at the register like you normally see. He's seated there, and he's just looking at his phone, waiting on customers to come in. It's like he didn't want to find something else to do in the store. And he's just looking at his phone. I don't think anything of it. And people are just having quiet conversations at the other tables. And all of a sudden he goes, "Sheriff had to shoot somebody." Yep. Sheriff just had to shoot somebody. Apparently a guy had his wife held hostage with a rifle. Woo! And I'm like, so apparently he's looking at like some police scanner app with a real-time ticker update like Lily's world of what's going on in Delaware County. And I just found that interesting. Yeah. He took it upon himself to be the news anchor for the rest of the Taco Bell.
He was the investigative journalist at the Taco Bell.
Yeah, and relay the message that the sheriff had to...
He might be one of those guys that sits at home and listens to a CB radio.
Yeah.
Well, you can do that on your phone. Like I have a scanner
you can do
app
that.
on my
That's
phone.
sure. You can do it on your phone now.
Yeah.
Like I'll hear sirens. Yeah, I'll hear sirens go by, and I'll be like, let's turn it on, see if I can hear anything.
Yeah, 5.0 radio. I use that.
Dad does the same thing.
Yep. Anyway, well, this has certainly been a very
I've loved this episode.
Interesting episode. The first half had nothing to do with the second half, and it's totally fine because that's how we roll.
Word.
We hope you've enjoyed it. We're gonna really push this one out because I think there's some good stuff in this one. So
yeah,
it's been a lot of fun. We're coming up on Christmas, so if you need to get some men's grooming products for your significant other, go to artiusman.com. That's ARTIUSMAN.com. Use promo code THEMIDDLE. That's the middle, all one word, at checkout to receive 25% off of your total order. We would really appreciate it. I am wearing some mustache wax and beard butter right now that smells really good, much better than some of the foods that were on this table. So we would really appreciate it if you supported them. It helps us, it helps Artius Man, and it helps you because you'll get some amazing products made from natural products right here in Central Ohio. And I think they ship pretty much everywhere. So check those guys out. Follow us on all of our socials. If there is a topic that you would like us to discuss on the show, if you have a question, we're still doing our segment Answers from the Middle, but we need more questions. So if you'd like to hear us weigh in on one of your questions, reach out to us at fromthemiddle@protonmail.com, protonmail.com, or we have a phone number. Just look below in the description. You can text or call, leave a voicemail if you want your voice to be heard on the episodes. And we would love to interact with you in that way. I think that's pretty much it. Anything from you guys?
No, sir. And as always,
thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing about Toby. That was really fun. We had a good laugh. Love your creativity.
I will definitely be telling him about this tonight.
Yeah. Tell Toby I said hi.
And listen, you have been you've been really engaging. You've sent fan art of the podcast. You've sent in questions before on previous episodes. Really appreciate that you listen from time to time. I know you're not caught up, and that's okay.
I'm not caught up
Still
at
love
all.
you.
I watched the Mr. Furshaw episode, though.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah, good stuff. So thanks for coming. Thanks for talking about Toby. And we will see you guys next Wednesday.